Welcome. This is Legends of the Mixed Arts. My name is Liana.
And I'm Andre.
And we are your resident MMA video magazine.
Now today we're going to be hosting bouts from some of your favorite MMA leagues.
That's right, we're also going to be spotlighting some of the rising stars in MMA. So stay tuned and we will be right back with more Legends of the Mixed Arts.
They say the truth will set you free. What does it take to be the chosen one? It takes courage. It takes passion. It takes faith. But above all, it takes the will to choose, to be the one. You can become a legend.
Welcome back to Legends of the Mixed Arts. Our first matchup is Tweet versus Sieber. Tweet is wearing the red and Sieber is wearing the black.
Now this is the women's MMA 147-pound weight division. Now this means that this is the light heavyweight class. Now this should be a pretty good matchup because we got two people with 1 wins and 2 losses each. The weights are about the same, so this fight should be pretty good.
Absolutely.
Should be a good watch.
It's an evenly matched game here we're watching. So let's go ahead and get to the fight.
The intimidating stare down there from both fighters, not one that you're going to see any self-doubt in either one of these fighters as they get prepped for our main event of the evening, 3 5-minute rounds, as Adrian Sieber in the black trunks out of the blue corner takes on the red trunks of Charmaine Tweet out of the red corner. And Tweet cutting the cage off early and trying to get Sieber up against the fence as both exchange a kick.
Well, and Charmaine Tweet has that long reach and height advantage and that Muay Thai background, which she's going to hope to use to keep the range going. Both fighters feel comfortable on the ground, but you look at Charmaine Tweet's extensive Muay Thai background, and she's not going to want to give up that advantage.
Continuing to throw those leg kicks, a big front kick. And that one, a front kick for Charmaine, almost to the chin of Adrian. So gives you a little bit of an idea on the height difference between these two women.
And a nice leg catch and a takedown by Adrian Sieber. And now we'll see the ground game of both these fighters. And a good guard there by Charmaine Tweet.
Well, and Charmaine spending every day wrestling with Chichi Gonzalez, and anybody who saw him fight in Estevan knows exactly how good that ground game can be. May have had an arm there, but ended up having to slide back into the guard as Adrian Sieber did a good job of defending that, having the arm up there, coming across with a big elbow thrown there by Charmaine.
Yeah, and you hear "be active" coming out of the coach's corner of Charmaine Tweet, and active as she's being, continuing to shrimp and move backwards, trying to get a position in which she can land. Adrian Sieber not doing much in the top position except defend. There's a nice pass, and this is maybe where she can get to work, perhaps dropping some elbows there.
A knee into the side of Charmaine Tweet. And again, like you mentioned, Jeremy, it'll be Adrian Sieber trying to find a position here and is trying to pass and almost has the full mount, now does have the full mount and is on top of Charmaine Tweet. We'll see if she can do anything from here as she's got the mount and almost 3 full minutes to work with it.
Yeah, and you look on the left leg of Adrian Sieber and there's a big red mark from a kick there. So You can see the effectiveness of the kicking of Charmaine Tweet. Now that she's got her head up against the cage, she's going to want to push to be able to get her back up and be able to stand up. But good punches being landed here by Adrian Sieber.
Sieber continuing to work on top, and as we've seen all night, the dominant position really works for the judges' favor. Charmaine Tweet may have been landing the primary strikes earlier when she had her in the guard. However, since she's got into the mount and doing a good job of keeping her in the mount, Adrian Sieber has landed the better of the exchanges here.
And trying to come through is Charmaine Tweet, unable to do so. Good center of balance there by Sieber, and you can see big punch landed there, made the space, and Adrian Sieber caught Charmaine Tweet flat on the face.
Right in front of us up here at cage side, and trying to spring her back when she felt like Sieber's hips had maybe gotten too high. Charmaine Tweet trying to spring out, but unable to do so, and gets a couple punches for her trouble.
Well, and the thing with female fighters is they have extra flexibility compared to men, so you'll see positions that you might not see in the male ranks, and you see how flexible Charmaine Tweet is to be able to reach her legs all the way back. Now she's looking to be able to counter, gets out of a dangerous position. Big shots being landed, though, by Adrian Sieber.
And Sieber dropping a big elbow a moment ago, missing with this one here as she continues to drop punches, and Charmaine Tweet trying to use her legs to try and stop the arms of Adrian Sieber, but unable to do so. Sieber will pop up, land a couple punches, and then get back into this tight position. Now we've got an arm triangle possibility here from the top as Sieber maybe trying to put the choke on, but is unable to do so. Had the neck crank a bit, but so far so good for Adrian Sieber here in round number 1 with 45 seconds to go. Spent the bulk of round 1 on top now, and maybe just looking for a submission there and trying to pull out the arm of Charmaine Tweet and get in there and secure a submission. But so far so good for Adrian Sieber here in round number 1.
And doing a good job staying in good position. These aren't necessarily landing clean, but they are landing and doing damage, and they are landing in the eyes of the judges. Again, you see the flexibility here by Charmaine Tweet trying to stop those arms with her legs. And we're down here to 10 seconds left on our feature fights clock. And you hear the clap there.
I think Adrian Sieber thought that was the end of the round. She got up for a moment and stopped and tried to pull the arm bar, was unable to secure it. So Charmaine Tweet finds herself on the bottom for most of round number 1. Adrian Sieber, a very impressive performance here in round number 1.
And in upcoming events, we have Mayhem at the Mansion, Breaking Point 4. That will be Saturday, February 16th. You're going to have Kaneshiro versus Akina. Be there or be square. All right, so that wraps up round 1 with Tweet versus Sieber. What did you think about that, Andy?
Round
Andre?
1. Now, I don't want to, comment too much on Tweet's defense, but Sieber's offense, boy, really, she threw her onto the ground, grappled her, got her into a lock position, gave her a head punch, elbows to the head, all money shots. And Tweet, she kind of just tried to play her defense, but there's really not much you can do when you're pinned.
No, not at all. She did the lay and pray. That's what they call it. So she just laid there and kept taking those punches to the face and just prayed that the referee would come over and pull them apart, which he didn't do. So she realized she really had to start using her defense tactics while lying on that floor on her back. She really got her legs involved. She was using a lot of the flexibility. You see that more with the female fighters than you do in the male fighters. She really put up a good fight, but in the end, I think Sieber came out on top. So let's move on to round 2.
Underway round number 2. The fighters touch gloves and they are back at it.
She's circling to the left. She's circling left. Heavy feet. Heavy feet. Strike with her. Yes. Stay with her. She's heavy.
Both fighters throwing big leg kicks.
Another good leg kick there by Charmaine Tweet.
Chop her down. She's heavy on her feet.
In talking to Char's coaches before the fight, they said they expected Adrian to come in, try and take her down and work ground and pound, and that's exactly what she did in round number 1. And we'll see what they told her between rounds to see what they're able to do here in round number 2.
Well, the most important thing is when she has those big leg kicks. She has to bring her leg back immediately to be able to take that catch. Nice leg kick there. And here rushing in, a bull rush up against the fence is Adrian Sieber pushing Charmaine Tweet there, and Charmaine looking to counter and possibly has that standing guillotine, but it doesn't look like it's in very tight. And here you end up with Adrian Sieber on top with a ton of time.
Well,
3 minutes, 52 seconds.
I certainly don't think Charmaine Tweet tried to drop in with the guillotine there. She secured the head, but it was a nice takedown from Adrian Sieber as she caved in the back of that one knee and secured the takedown, like you were mentioning earlier, Jeremy, the old school wrestling style of put one hand behind the knee, buckle the knee, and that means that your opponent's going to go down, and that's what Sieber did there. And again, winds up on top, and she was very effective in round number 1. We'll see what she can do here in round number 2 if she can pass and regain that mounted position.
Striking from the bottom is Charmaine Tweet, but again, we talk about being on the bottom. You don't want to be there. It looks bad in the eyes of the judges. Nice knee landed by Adrian Sieber.
Again, posturing up, putting her weight down on Charmaine in the top half, holding her down, limiting that striking ability, and trying to work from that position.
Well, you can look at the powerful legs of Adrian Sieber when she was up, and they are going to call her up to a neutral position. So again, this is advantage Charmaine Tweet, but if you're not being busy enough on the ground, this is what's going to happen.
A little bit surprised he stood them up there. It felt like Adrian Sieber was landing strikes. And again, right back into the takedown. And you can see, Jeremy, that welt on the leg of Adrian Sieber, now even bigger just above the knee from a second round of damage. And that power base isn't going to be there, but those takedowns do score points with the judges. And now she'll have to continue to work here, knowing that referee Mark Aparicio not hesitate to stand them up.
Well, and it's just a question of you got to keep the action going, and that's the officials are designed to do that. That's what their job is. And I'm sure he verbally warned Adrian Sieber multiple times. You got to keep busy, got to keep busy. And again, from the guard, Charmaine Tweet does some damage, but again, she's on the bottom, and it can't look good to judges.
Again, Adrian Sieber on top here in our main event. The first ever female main event for the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship. They will stand them up again, and with 1:35 left in round number 2, Charmaine Tweet's going to have to score some points here with the judges after 2 consecutive takedowns. And it looks like a third one is on its way, and it is. Another nice takedown. Adrian Sieber just pushing through Charmaine Tweet and not taking no for an answer, but Tweet might have a guillotine here. It would be an arm-in guillotine if she has it, but that arm may be under the chin, and Tweet now pressing, trying to get, and Sieber doing a good job to muscle out.
Especially since Charmaine Tweet had that body triangle, so it wasn't getting anything going, or there wasn't going to be a grip broken there.
Well, and we talk about this a lot in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship when we see fighters with a significant height and reach advantage, is that yes, you've got the height and reach advantage, but your opponent has the advantage of having that much more weight in a much smaller package. So you're allowed to have more muscle mass. You're allowed to, when it does get to the ground, it's harder for them to push them off because they've got to push more off in a smaller package.
Yeah. And it looks like he's calling them up again. Now you look at the corner, and the corner of Adrian Sieber is the first couple they were okay. This one they were quite upset because they thought that Adrian was still doing some damage on the ground, and I agree. But Mark Aparicio is the one in there, and he's making the decision to stand them up to keep the fight going. And a big shot landed by Adrian Sieber. I think she's surprised that she landed that shot.
And now in MMA news, on Friday, March 1st, we have a fight coming up, Wild Bill's Fight Night 53, put on by Undisputed Productions. The doors will open at 7:30, but the fight does not begin until 8:30. We'll see you there. All right, so that wraps up round 2 there. Once again, you see Sieber in the dominant position. She's really good on her takedowns and mounting her opponent. What were your thoughts about that, Andre?
Sieber really knows how to make the takedown. She, The officials call it off. They go back in stand-up position. Sieber just brings her down again, throws her back down on the mat, elbows her to the face, punches to the face, elbows to the face. I really can't see Tweet, handling that for much longer in the third round.
No, I can't either. I feel like Tweet, she's really had enough at this point. So if she doesn't come back strong in the third round, she's probably not going to be winning this match. So let's move on to round 3.
And just got a better look, by the way, on the replay there of that big punch thrown by Sieber at the end of the round, connected with Char's shoulder and not her face, even though her face went back. Sounded good from here, but that again, that height advantage taking into account in favor of Charmaine Tweet.
It's the jaw on any regular height girl.
That's all she's got. Use the head, set up the legs. Let's go. Come on, Char.
So again, a more cautious game plan here in round number 3 by Adrian Sieber, and her corner may be telling her that they think she's up 2 rounds to nothing and not to necessarily engage and allow Charmaine that knockout punch. But again, securing a single leg takedown now and trying the guillotine, and now has the back to Charmaine Tweet. And Charmaine, after spending 2 rounds being dominated on the ground, now doing a little bit of it on her own. And we'll see whether or not Adrian Sieber can turn into this and get out of it. But now she's given up her back, and Charmaine Tweet with those long limbs is not going to give it up too easily.
Yeah, she's a little bit high right now, so she needs to watch her position, but she does have both hooks in, so it's going to be difficult for Sieber to come on top, but she's going to be able to sneak out the back and ends up on top. And Charmaine Tweet needs to immediately push herself off the cage. She cannot remain down here. She needs to be pushing herself up right away.
Yeah, with 3.5 minutes remaining in the third and final round of our main event here for the School of Hard Knocks 25, a presentation of the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, coming to you live from the Cypress Center in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and it's Adrian Sieber with 2 rounds of ground game dominance over Charmaine Tweet, and continuing to do so here in round number 3 after she popped up. But Tweet again going for that choke, trying to secure it, has the one arm under. It's whether or not she can secure it with the other arm and get the pressure on the neck of Adrian Sieber, who again pops out loose here and winds up in a dominant position against Charmaine Tweet.
Yeah, and again, Sieber is staying busy. That's the important part, that she doesn't want to get called up. She wants to stay down here. She's figured out that Charmaine doesn't necessarily have the ability to get off her back with her on top of her. So she's making sure to stay busy so the referee doesn't have an opportunity to call them standing.
And now is passed into the half guard, and more of it now a rubber guard attempted briefly there by Charmaine Tweet, but she abandons that and now is back into full guard.
Look for the elbows. You got it. Quick inside, quick inside.
Coach is in the corner of Adrian Sieber, making sure to tell her to keep both her arms in. We discussed that earlier. Knees to your elbows, that keeps both your arms safe, keeps you away from triangles, which at this point in a fight is the move that is going to be used, because again, the bodies get sweaty and it's able to slip out.
Adrian Sieber still on top here in round number 3, as she was for the better parts of rounds number 1 and 2, and postures up and tries to land a strike. But again, Tweet doing a very good job using her long limbs to keep Sieber from really landing any damaging strikes. But she doesn't need to land damaging strikes as long as she remains in a dominant position, Jeremy.
Yeah, and Charmaine Tweet needs to adjust her game plan. She can't just defend here. She has to feel that she's not winning this fight. I don't see how she could be in that range, so she's got to be attempting things, and she's not as active as I would like, and I think she's hoping that the official will be standing her up, but give credit to Adrian Sieber for remaining busy on the top.
Continuing to move forward, 1 minute left now in our main event, as Adrian Sieber continues to be in a dominant position on Charmaine Tweet. And Charmaine's going to have to look for a submission here really quickly if she wants to finish it, and she won't get that chance. Now it's got to be knockout or nothing, as the referee stands them up with 40 seconds to go. And this may turn into a slugfest here in the last couple seconds as Adrian Sieber shoots for the takedown. Charmaine Tweet obviously looking for the knockout blow, throws the knee, and Sieber gets her up against the cage and will be looking to secure another takedown here. Tweet's got to create some distance if she wants to get a knockout, and she's going to have to do that in a hurry with just 15 seconds left in our main event.
Yeah, Sieber's in no rush to take her down. That's where she can be tapped out. There's no danger of being tapped out in a standing position, so I'm just going to push you up against the cage and secure my victory. Great game plan here by Adrian Sieber, and looks like she's going to win this one. I would give it 3 rounds to 0, and she can take a lot from this. And Charmaine Tweet definitely going to have to go and work on that jiu-jitsu to be able to get off her back when put down there.
And that wraps up round 3. It looks like Sieber there, she was pretty good at what she did there with the takedowns every single round. Right off the bat, she would, have Tweet on her back. Tweet just couldn't get back up from those. The referee broke them up several times throughout each bout, but in that 3rd round, it seemed like she lost a lot of her steam.
Yeah, Tweet really focusing mainly on her defense, trying to get off the mat, trying to use her lower body to kind of get herself leverage she needs to escape, but really it was the headshots. At the end, you could see it in her face. She was physically like she was out of it.
She was tired. She was very tired, and she just couldn't even punch anymore at the end. You could see she'd just given up.
And at the very beginning of the match, we thought it would be close, but after the 1st round, we pretty much got a tone for the whole, each round, the whole thing. All Adrian Sieber.
Absolutely.
And really, Hard Knocks knows how to throw on some great events. This was a great match. What's next?
Our next, actually, we're going to be taking a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come right back and watch our 2nd fight of the day.
We have a split decision this evening. Judge Peterson scores it 30-27. Sieber. Lyons scores it 29-28. Tweet. And for the winner, 29-28, in the blue corner, Adrian Sieber!
And now, in more important news, we have Extreme Fighting Championships who presents XFC 22 Crossing the Line. It's live from Grady Cole Center. You're going to have Holtzman versus Hicks. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be there. It's a grudge match. Everybody has to see it. And if you're not there, I'm coming for you. And now on Legends of the Mixed Arts, we are going to spotlight one of my favorite MMA fighters, Jessica Penne. Jessica is a first and current Invicta FC champion. She is an atomweight. She stands at 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 105 pounds. Her current record is 10 wins and 1 loss. That's a pretty sweet record to have. Her most glorious victory was against Naho Sugiyama, who she beat in the 2nd round with a triangle chokehold. In an interview, she said, "I am very confident with my submission game, and I'm definitely most confident when I'm on the ground." You can see Penne in her next fight at the Invicta FC5, where she's going to face off against Michelle Watterson, who has a record of 10 wins and 3 losses. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back with some more Legends of the Mixed Arts. Welcome back. Our next matchup is Adam Imhoff versus Chad Anheliger. And what we have here is 2 men, 136 pounds. They're in the men's featherweight division. So it looks like it's probably going to be another pretty evenly matched fight here once again.
Now, with the featherweight division, that means they are 135 pounds, give or take. Now, Imhoff coming in with a 2-2 record. He's looking to go positive this round. This match can be the decision for his record. And Helliger coming in with a 1-2, 2 losses, looking to break even. Now, Imhoff playing for the Helltown Hybrids, and Helliger playing for the Knuckles MMA. This match should be interesting.
Absolutely, I completely agree, and I'm excited to see the first round and how that plays out.
Good explosive kick to start it off by Adam Imhoff.
Again, Imhoff counting on his experience to be a factor here with 19 MMA fights between his amateur and pro career thus far.
Well, and you can see the dynamic striking here by both these guys, in and out. And we mentioned it before, where a kick should be as fast out as it is back in. Nice strikes here by Anheliger, and a good takedown by Adam Imhoff.
Anheliger's coach is screaming at him to get up off the ground, knowing that he is a very good striker. Imhoff doing a good job of getting Anheliger to the ground and limiting that potential for damage.
Yeah, and you can see the welt from that first kick on the leg of Anheliger. Screaming for the armbar is his coach and trying to get in, and he's almost got that leg underneath. Again, not much happening here. The official pulling the toes out. It's very similar to the fingers. It's just for risk's sake. Big swing by Adam Imhoff.
And Imhoff continuing to work on top, and now scrambling. A nice reversal there from Chad Anheliger to roll into a dominant position.
That's some great jiu-jitsu there by Anheliger. He caught his opponent with the balance, was able to go him all the way through, and now looking to use his own strikes from the top here. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left. Nice balls being landed by Anheliger.
Imhoff in a little bit of trouble here as Anheliger pinned his one arm and is able to land, I want to say he's landed 10 or 12 punches straight to the face of Imhoff, who's still gamely defending, Jeremy, but is in a lot of trouble here in this position.
Well, and I think the good thing for Imhoff is it's the left hand that's free and not the right hand. Yes, the left hand's doing damage, but we know all about the right hand of Chad Anheliger.
And again, those punches not coming with a lot of power on them necessarily. And there's the right hand, and now both fists being thrown by Anheliger. And Imhoff's in some serious trouble here with 2.5 minutes left. Mark Aparicio right on top of the action. Doesn't jump in yet, though. And now he's imploring Imhoff to defend himself. Imhoff saying he's fine, he's doing all right. And again, a nice elbow there from Anheliger. And it looks like he might be trying to find an armbar there, using the punches to soften him up. More blows now unanswered to the side of Imhoff's head. And the referee right on top of the action. Elbows now coming, and this fight is over. Chad Anheliger works a ground and pound victory over Adam Imhoff, and Imhoff not happy about the decision, shaking his head, saying it shouldn't have been stopped. But for my money, Anheliger had been raining unanswered blows for a good minute and a half.
The winner by TKO at 2 minutes and 52 seconds in the very first round, in the blue corner, Chad Anheliger.
Really, Anheliger.
Wow, that was a great round. Nobody expected that when we saw that start. We thought, Imhoff has this in the bag. He had that great takedown. And then you saw them turn it all around, and then, Anheliger was on top, and he just kept taking face shot after face shot after face shot on Imhoff. So
Imhoff looked a little antsy going in, and really, it's almost like he wasn't prepared for this, because Anheliger really just relentlessly punch after punch after punch after punch Imhoff's head, and really it was that last elbow, bam, to the face.
Yeah.
You're going to have to call it quits after that.
We had to kind of wonder, when is that referee going to come over and stop this fight? Finally, he did come over and do that, and I think it was the right call to make. So we see Anheliger coming out on top with a TKO. He did make himself even. Now he's got 2 wins, 2 losses, so it's pretty great. Let's go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. And in other fight news, we've got Dead Serious MMA, Dead Serious 6. It's Saturday, March 20th. It's over at the Collins Arena over in New Jersey. You can reach out to 201-538-4843 for more information. And I'm dead serious. You better be there. Welcome back. Our third fight of the day is Joe Ray versus Jeremy Smith. Now, do you have their stats and their standings?
Yeah, we got Joe Ray coming in 4-0. He's coming in undefeated. Now we got Jeremy Smith coming in against him. He has an 8-1 record. He's, tasted defeat once, but will he taste it again? This matchup, pretty good, should be exciting. Let's see what happens.
Great. Let's go ahead and shoot over to round 1 here.
Here we go, first round. Michael Chavello, Guy Mezger with you. Jeremy Smith, the South African, in the black and white trunks. Both men in orthodox stance. Look out for the handiwork here of Jeremy Smith. He gets in early straight line punches. Just trying to thread the jab through the guard here of Ray.
Right there, good right hand there. He's followed up, good left hook. He's followed up with a kick or something now. Just kind of throwing one technique.
Inside leg kick from Smith. Gets underneath the left hook. Tie clinch early from Joe Ray. Good knee to the outside left thigh there from Smith.
Yeah, Smith doesn't get his head that low. I wouldn't get that head that low against a guy with the knees of Smith. Of Ray.
I said to you earlier that Joe Ray does possess a beautiful tie clinch. We saw it used earlier on. He should try and go back for that tie clinch, lock the hands around the back of the neck of the South African Jeremy Smith. Smith just pressing him up against the cage at the moment. And going to work those knees to the outside left thigh of Joe Ray. Nice knee switching up there off the left leg. And Ray returns the favour. Caught him on the forearms.
Well, Smith is kind of doing a good job. He's keeping Ray's hips pushed up against the cage. It's hard for Ray to throw hard knees that way. But nothing's going on, so it'll be interesting how long they're going to let this go.
Surprisingly here, Joe Ray hasn't put on a knee guard to prevent those knees coming through from Jeremy Smith. Perhaps could break off and find an opportunity to work an elbow here, Jeremy Smith. Nice high knee, the upper right rib cage. Now the Muay Thai clinch locked on from Joe Ray. Only goes back to a single hander. Looks for that double-handed clinch once more, but he hasn't got the fingers locked in there, and it's ineffective. Throws the elbow over the top after he had an uppercut, and we're back to center cage. The crowd appreciating that exchange, and a spinning back elbow from Joe Ray.
That was good. That was slick.
Beautiful clipping left hand, and Joe Ray puts him back inside the Muay Thai clinch. Don't forget, folks, if you're on Twitter, you can join us. Follow us here tonight. Guy Mezger, Chavello Voice, and official XFC, 8 Minute Fights, all on Twitter. Single leg here from Jeremy Smith. Downward elbows, I like those, to the clavicle region from Joe Ray. Good use of the elbows early on here from the local Florida fighter. And Smith gets the takedown, tries to pass.
Oh, he's going into the armbar though. Excellent transition, but he's letting it go. He needs to keep it a little bit sucked up, tighter.
And Joe Ray find an early sub here with 2 minutes 14 remaining in the first round.
He's doing a good job. He needs to keep moving around. He needs to keep moving. Yeah, you can't stay underneath him like the eyes out. Nice transition though. It was a nice attempt.
And Smith straight back on him here.
He's got a good tight choke around him. Oh, he's got it tight.
Goes to side control, does the South African, and now he can work those knees. He can drop them to the midsection off the left leg. He can also work a submission of his own. There's a back elbow to the upper right rib cage. Good positioning here for the South African.
Interesting because we were really kind of expecting this to be a Thai boxing match, and it didn't last that long on the feet. Not as long as we expected, at least.
Looking for some ground and pound here. Good up kicks from Ray. Ground kick to the midsection, belly button through the back there. And Joe Ray with the uppercut almost took out the ring lights. This crowd is on their feet. Good outside thigh kick from Ray. Smith looked for the counter left hand. What a way to kick off XFC 13. Near the corner again of Joe Ray. Look for the uppercut off the right hand. Skips forward, switch up round kick. That means you switch the lead leg to the back leg to kick it.
I'll tell you what, Joe...
Oh, beautiful round kick. Smack bang off the back leg. And the right hand through the guard. Muay Thai clinch gives it up though, Jeremy Smith. I am surprised that Joe Ray is beating Jeremy Smith to the punch here in the first round.
Yeah, you know what, he's doing an excellent job of using his reach, but you know what he's not doing is throwing the combination. it looks like he's actually hurting Smith pretty good with those shots, but he's not following them up.
Good work the knees again. Just chopping up that outside left thigh here, Jeremy Smith. Looked for the uppercut. Didn't have the trajectory on it though, did Joe Ray. And Smith keeping him pressed against the cage. Eats the uppercut. There's a crossing elbow. Muay Thai clinch, but gives it up Joe Ray. Final 10 seconds of the opener. It has been an absolute barn burner.
This is a tough round to call. It really is a tough round to call.
Wow, that was a really great first round. I really expected to see a lot more kicking and punching from these guys. Instead, we saw a lot more of the grappling on the ground, a lot of the submission holds, choke holds, arm bars. Really wasn't expected. But what did you think about all of this, Andre? What did you think about that round?
Now, Joe Ray's, this is his first match. He's a little young, only has 4 rounds under his belt, as opposed to Jeremy Smith, who comes in with 8 wins and 1 losses. Ray doesn't know defeat as well as Jeremy does, so he's going in hot. He's trying to get those punches, working at upper body. You can see the force behind every punch, but Smith really throwing him on the mat, locking it up. It was a good match, but Smith came out on top, in my opinion.
Yep.
How would you rate it?
I agree. Smith came out on top again. He does have a little more experience in the fighting arena. He has done 8 matches, lost only 1 of those matches, whereas Joe Ray, he's done 4, but he hasn't lost at all. So let's see what the second round holds for Joe Ray and Jeremy Smith.
Get us underway in the second of 3. As Guy Mezger said, a hard opening round for our 3 judges to score on that 10-point must system. Nice inside leg kick there from Joe Ray, just above the knee, and he shoots the cross down the center corridor.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. Ray is starting to really land things. What the punch stat CompuStrike does not count for is the effectiveness of the strikes, because I think Ray's got the best of it. Like, boom, nice shot there, and you're already seeing Smith's eyes starting to close. His corner better get an inswell on that this next round.
Smith landed a glancing right hand to the temple there. Didn't quite have the mustard behind it. Probes with the jab does Jeremy Smith. Takes an outside thigh kick to the elite quadriceps. Oh! Spinning back elbow! Sanchai would have been proud of that one. But Jeremy Smith may have found his second win, but he still can't connect with a clean shot. And that left eye of Smith is almost swollen shut now. My word! That spinning back elbow was something special. Muay Thai clinch here from Joe Ray. He is putting on a clinic that Lumpini Stadium in Bangkok would be proud of, Guy.
Absolutely, that was a phenomenal spinning anything's tough to hit, especially a spinning elbow, but that was right on the button. I will tell you something, man. Jeremy Smith is one tough customer, taking a spinning elbow like that without even stopping.
Downward, hammerfist strike. Joe Ray has just landed some heavy salvos, already 13 out of 33 strikes landed. 65% landing ratio for Ray in the first. Knee to the inside thigh there from Smith. The South African needs to start finding the target here, because he is getting busted up in the second.
Well, I'll tell you something. You could see Smith's lack of real wrestling experience, because he's getting position, but instead of using it, he's kind of muscling his way through, which, like, someone with that lacks the wrestling experience. Yeah, his face is not looking good. There's probably that much swelling. I'm afraid it might be a cheekbone eye socket.
It looks like someone has stuffed a golf ball under his left eye. It is completely shut here on Jeremy Smith. He gets tagged with a nice counter uppercut off the right hand from Joe Ray.
Jeremy's got to know that they're going to stop this fight. If that eye closes, he can't see, they're going to stop the fight. He's got to fight with a little more desperation.
And still, Jeremy Smith dropping his left hand that allows Ray to counter with that right cross time and time again. There was a power salvo from Smith, but immediately he backs up, goes to the body.
I'll tell you something, both these guys are taking some hard shots. Holy smokes.
Step through right hand, try for the ball, didn't connect for Joe Ray. For the reputably big body banger that Jeremy Smith is, we haven't really seen him go to the carcass too many times so far.
He's just getting beat to the punch. It's hard to, you got to work your way into the body. He didn't get an opportunity to do that.
So Ray could try and snake the arms through to the tie clinch here. Good tight forearms guard. Gets out of the way of the wild uppercut off the left hand of Jeremy Smith. And back to center Kane. Ray looking to pick his shot with that right hand.
The ref needs to stop and have the docs look at that eye. I don't think he can see out of it.
You could blindfold him with a piece of dental floss at the moment, Jeremy Smith, on that left eye.
Yeah, I mean, there's over a minute left in this round. You know, the thing is, you know, you can see Smith, he's just coming, giving it his all. But I don't know how the doc's going to let that fight go in another round. I don't think you can see.
And Joe Ray knows he's ahead here. He knows he is just picking apart the South African, and he is not overextending. Jumping knee! René Bonjaski style. As he tried to take out the left leg there, Jeremy Smith. He wants Ray on the canvas. He gets him on the canvas. Inside the half guard here. And the submission from Joe Ray. Can he find the finish? No, Jeremy Smith's out. And he wants to posture up. He wants to work the ground and pound. What resilience. What intestinal fortitude from the South African.
I'll tell you something, man. He's winning fans on pure heart alone here. Holy smokes, he's doing it. You know, he's a tough guy.
A 25-year-old from Johannesburg has turned it on. And now he's going for the submission of Joe Ray.
He's got 10 seconds. Can he do it?
This would be amazing. Ray springs off the fence. Oh, his neck almost twists around sadistically. This is crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
This is awesome.
Wow, that was a crazy second round.
That was an intense second round. And did you see that headlock? That headlock at the very end, pretty much, like once that happened, I knew it was just up until the official calls it, that round. Man,
right.
Boy.
A lot of heavy punches, I think, from both opponents, from both ends. It seemed like Smith was getting the brunt of most of the punches there. I don't know if you noticed, but his eye was completely swollen shut, and everything was bloody from his lip to his eye, to the side of his face, and I feel like, Joe Ray was really using that to his advantage. But at this point, at the end, Smith pulled it back out. He really came back out on top, so it's kind of iffy as to how this fight is going to end. It seems like it's a pretty even matchup here.
It was really those headshots, just, once you get enough of those in your face to the point where it's affecting your vision, you got to wonder what's going on in his head. Coming into the third round, this should be exciting. Should be a little bit iffy on whether it'll be a good round, but it'll be enjoyable and it'll be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I think we should go over to round 3 and see how that one plays out.
Third and final round of what has been an absolute cracker. What has Jeremy Smith of South Africa still got left in the tank? He fires the right hand to open up the round. Joe Ray has been all over him with the Muay Thai skills so far as he puts in that right cross, steps through with the jab. Gets underneath the round kick, tries to counter with the left hook there. Does Jeremy Smith and misses the target. Lead right hand from the South African. Tie clinch and goes for the meet and greet. Checks the leg kick. He is blowing up a storm too here, Jeremy Smith. Breathing very heavily through his mouth.
Yeah, he's, listen, he's got more than just that eye problem. You can see his whole side of his face is swollen up there. It's probably a serious fracture in his cheekbone.
The winner of the XFC Open tryouts in South Africa, as XFC has truly gone global this year. The recent show in Northern Cyprus, anticipated shows perhaps in China, and also big plans here in the USA. Jeremy Smith trying valiantly, throwing the combinations, but just doesn't have the accuracy, nor does he have the snap at this stage. And Ray hasn't really thrown down so far in this round. He's being cautious. He knows he's ahead, Joe Ray. He knows that so much as he doesn't do anything silly, he'll win this fight by a decision. Nice counter right cross again from Ray.
Well, Ray's doing a good job of actually sticking in there and just countering real well.
Good inside thigh kick to that femoral artery. And that one there cut the pie up the center. Jeremy Smith just apologizing. In the second round, Smith throwing 41 arm strikes. Ray, 27. Referee just checking that Ray's junk is okay. Still a long time remaining here. If Jeremy Smith can somehow swing the pendulum. 3 minutes 10 on the clock. But it may take a minor miracle. They took Muay Thai clinch and a good knee to the upper left rib cage there. Looking for the takedown, couldn't get it though, Smith. Is he going to get his back taken? No. Good work from Jeremy Smith. The South African is not done yet.
I'll tell you something, man. This kid was hurt for days.
Smith strikes. Posturing up here to work some ground and pound Jeremy Smith. They breed him tough in South Africa. Such great fighters over the years, especially in the K1 ranks. The likes of Mike Bernardo, Virgil Calacolida. Francois Botha, former pro boxer who turned his hand to K1 for a while. Jeremy Smith looked to pass here. He's stuck inside the half guard at the moment with 2 minutes 10 now on the clock.
I'll tell you something, Ray's doing a really good job defending off his back. He's throwing good elbows, good punches, he's good movement. He hasn't taken any hard shots yet.
The blood is that of the South African. Even if he does not win this one, Jeremy Smith, he has no doubt won over the crowd, which is saying something, seeing as he's fighting a Florida fighter. Good forearm, just dropping it down on the jawline there of Joe Ray. The view you'd get if you were a bird. Still inside the half guard here, Jeremy Smith. And he is finding the target with some ground and pound. 60 strikes thrown, makes it 63 with 41 landed now for Jeremy Smith. He is all over him like a fat kid on a cupcake here in the final round on the ground. Will it be enough though to turn the tide? He is raining down that right hand.
He's got over a minute, you know. He just needs to kind of start hitting harder punches. He's got to think about finishing him.
Drops the elbows.
You know, he's got to think about what it's going to do to finish him. These little things aren't going to finish his opponent. They're going to rack up points, but he needs a decisive win of this round.
It is time for the South African from Guerrilla Warfare Gym to go ape on Joe Ray for the final 45 seconds. He goes for the kidney. I love a nasty, dirty technique like that guy. Rip into that kidney, son.
You were dying all night to make that whole ape and gorilla connection.
I was waiting for it. You gave me the segue, brother. Thank you very much. He rips into the kidney, rips into the liver. He'll make Joe Ray piss blood for a week.
I'll tell you something, man. This kid has got so much heart. Both of them do, for that matter. I'm telling you something. This is the type of fight that neither of them want for long term, because it doesn't do them a lick of good. I'll tell you something, other than the fact that their fans are going to love it.
Final seconds. Up kicks here from Jeremy Smith. Big right hand and a solid left. End of the fight. End of the round.
Judge Ross scores about 30-27 for Smith.
For Smith? All 3 rounds for Smith?
No. Judge Davis scores about 29-28 for Joe Ray.
Wow.
And Judge Ballas scores about 30-27 for your winner by split decision, Jeremy the Pitbull Smith.
Wow, that was not the outcome that I had expected. I really thought Joe Ray had this fight, but you know, that's how it goes in MMA. You never really know what's going to happen, what the judges are going to actually decide. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with more Legends of the Mixed Arts. So, did you really expect to see all? And in other fight news, we've got Dead Serious MMA, Dead Serious 6. It's Saturday, March 20th. It's over at the Collins Arena over in New Jersey. You can reach out to 201-538-4843 for more information. And I'm dead serious. You better be there. And now on Legends of the Mixed Arts, we are going to spotlight one of my favorite MMA fighters, Jessica Penne. Jessica is a first and current Invicta FC champion. She is an atomweight. She stands at 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 105 pounds. Her current record is 10 wins and 1 loss. That's a pretty sweet record to have. Her most glorious victory was against Naho Sugiyama, who she beat in the second round with a triangle chokehold. In an interview, she said, "I am very confident with my submission game, and I'm definitely most confident when I'm on the ground." You can see Penne in her next fight at the Invicta FC5, where she's going to face off against Michelle Waterson, who has a record of 10 wins and 3 losses. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back with some more Legends of the Mixed Arts. And now, in more important news, we have Extreme Fighting Championships, who present XFC 22 Crossing the Line. It's live from Grady Cole Center. You're going to have Holtzman versus Hicks. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be there. It's a grudge match. Everybody has to see it. And if you're not there, I'm coming for you. Thank you so much for joining us this week on Legends of the Mixed Arts. Join us next week where we're going to have more bouts, more bruises, and more blood. And remember, whether you're going up or whether you're going down, it doesn't matter. Just make it legendary. And in upcoming events, we have Mayhem at the Mansion, Breaking Point 4. That will be Saturday, February 16th. You're going to have Kaneshiro versus Pakina. Be there or be square.